Tesla have just released their new Model S Plaid version. This car is simultaneously the quickest production car ever, and apparently the safest car ever, which is a pretty incredible combination. Now, as someone who has owned a Tesla Model 3 standard range and then traded that in for a Tesla Model 3 long range, and also has a Tesla Cybertruck on pre-order, would I be interested in purchasing a Tesla Model S Plaid? Well, I guess to work that out, the most important thing is exactly how much it would cost. So let's go ahead and go through the order process now, and we can find out. So it's got a 390 mile range estimate. That isn't actually too different from the 350 miles of range that my Tesla Model 3's got. So I guess that doesn't really change anything. This is pretty mental though. 1.99 seconds 0 to 60. That's ridiculous. My Model 3 right now, since purchasing the acceleration upgrade, it could do 0 to 60 in 3.7. And that feels ridiculously quick. This is a recent 0 to 60. Woo! Hold on. Oh, that noise is unreal. That is good. So the fact that this is twice as fast is too fast, to be honest with you. I'm happy with how fast my car is. I would absolutely love to test drive one of these and actually experience what 1.99 0 to 60 feels like. But I wouldn't be bothered about my car going that fast because I don't need my car to go any faster than it already does. Let's watch the 0 to 60 that Tesla released because this does look pretty epic, to be fair. Here we go. Floaty Dora. I love the fact they've added like a custom launch control animation as well. I'll talk about that later in the video. Top speed is 200 miles an hour. I think top speed on my Model 3 is 120. But either way, don't really go much above 70. So that's kind of irrelevant to me. And peak power, 1000 horsepower. That is pretty ridiculous, to be fair. Okay, let's click order now and we can find out how much this would cost. All right, here we go. Bloody hell. So the long range Model S is 83,000, which I think the long range Model 3 is like 50,000, is that right? But if we want this new Plaid version, I think it is pronounced Plaid, by the way. I thought it was Plaid, but I saw Elon Musk pronounced it Plaid. So I guess we'll go with Plaid. I think Plaid sounds better though. Let's click on Plaid. 118,000. Okay, what's its difference to long range? Ah, so the mileage is actually higher in the long range. That makes sense, but not by much. And then it's just kind of the 0 to 60, which is the big difference. Jeez, it's nearly an extra £40,000, which is just under how much my Model 3 cost on its own. Model S's are incredibly expensive. I do really like the look of them, though. The big, chunky, square arse isn't as pretty, in my opinion, as the arse on the Model 3. However, Model S is a hatchback, and it can hold a lot more room. So I think the sacrifice of having a big square bumper is definitely worth it for how much more stuff you'd be able to put in the boot. I like the turbine wheels as well. I think they look really nice. The interior, huge fan of. I like this a lot. So finally, the Model S actually have like a screen more like the Model 3 that's horizontal as opposed to vertical. I don't know why they ever had a vertical screen because it means that, you know, you're watching stuff like Netflix. The screen's so much smaller than it has to be. And apparently new to the Model S refresh, you can actually turn the screen, which is pretty cool, and like adjust it so it's pointed specifically at you or specifically at your passenger. I think that's a really nice feature. The wheel is obviously changed, so it's this fancy, more sporty looking wheel as opposed to a traditional round one. A lot of people think that's going to be massively inconvenient. I honestly think it'll be fine. You just get used to it. I feel like I hold the wheel further down most of the time anyway. Going back to the screen, a YouTuber called Ryan Shaw managed to get actually in one of these Model S Plaids because he's in America, so they get access to cool stuff like that. We don't get access to anything like that in the UK. But either way, he talked about the screen in more detail, so let's see what he thinks.
So far, it's fantastic. It looks
2 inches bigger, this one, compared to the other screens.
Is great. I'm used to a Model 3 and Model Y screen, and this is way better.
I told you.
It doesn't have to have your driving info here, so you have a lot more real estate, but everything is incredibly responsive. When you go to type, it's just a lot faster than what is in the Model 3 and the Model Y. And it makes me think that this software and everything might be exclusive to the Model S and X because of an updated computer.
Oh,
but
it
here
looks
are your
different.
main controls. You know, you got everything front, trunk. It's opening back there. And you have your main controls here.
They've definitely improved the user interface just a teeny weeny little bit, and it looks very nice.
And again, very responsive.
Oh, look at that! You can slide stuff
like
about! Alright, let's order one right now. Oh, I guess I'll have to decide what color I'm getting it. Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of black Teslas, and they look pretty epic, you know. Right now, my Model 3 is white. The pearlescent white does look very nice, but it does get mucky very quickly, and it's the most common color that you see as well, because it's the cheapest. It's nice to have something a little bit fancy. My first Tesla had midnight silver, which also looks very nice, but I think if I was to get another Tesla, whether that be like a Model S or a Model Y, I think I'd potentially go with the blue, because the blue's a bit fancy and you don't see the blue too often. It is going to cost us an extra £1,400 though, which is awfully expensive. Perhaps it would be better to just get it wrapped and get something even more unique and special. Oh, what wheels am I going to go with? Yes! Oh my god, they are expensive. The Arachnid wheels are an extra £4,400. That's ridiculous. Interior, so they have added a carbon fiber decor, which is pretty epic. So you can see that's carbon fiber now, which is kind of cool. We don't have anything else like that. And previously you could only get black and white seats, but now they've added cream, which I don't really like at all. So I'm going to stick with black, I think. Thank you. Oh, enhanced autopilot. So this is weird, this one, because it's different to full self-driving capability. I don't know why there's two options now, but it looks like if you want any kind of autopilot in your car, you now have to pay an extra £3,400. And that gives you access to the auto lane change, auto park summon, and smart summon as well. What a nice satisfying animation that was. I'm getting distracted. So how's that different to full self-driving capability? All functionality of basic autopilot and enhanced autopilot, traffic light and stop sign control. So that one, which doesn't have too much to it, it's £6,800. That is so expensive. Bloody hell, you're spending nearly 10 grand on autopilot stuff. As if you're spending nearly 10 grand in order to get auto lane change, auto park, which is pretty naff, summon, which is cool but pretty slow, and then it automatically stopping at traffic lights. I guess it's that expensive because they're planning for the future, and in Tesla's mind, these cars will eventually be completely self-drivable, so they'll just take you to your destination without you having to do anything at all. So I think that's what you're paying for, but obviously there's no guarantee that they'll ever get to that stage, or that they'll actually be legal to be on the roads. It could be another 10-15 years before that happens. So I think that's very pricey, and I think it's a shame that enhanced autopilot isn't just included anymore. But either way, let's add both of them. There we are. So here we go. Audio Model S estimated delivery is at the end of 2022, which is bloody ages away. So the fact that it's end of 22, that's because I'm in the UK. So I think by the time these start shipping in the UK, Tesla Cybertruck should already be available unless that gets delayed again. Because Tesla keeps showing off all this epic stuff like the Roadster and the Cybertruck and now the Model S Plaid. But none of them are actually being delivered to customers yet. And it feels like they're just doing so much but not really delivering on much of it. Like, wouldn't it be better to work a bit more linearly? So you announce the Tesla Cybertruck and 6 months later deliveries start going out. And you announce the Model S Plaid and 6 months after that deliveries start going out. I guess it's not too big of a problem because the Model S and the Cybertruck, outside of just like Tesla fans, there isn't really much of an overlap in the kind of person that would purchase each one of those, because one's like a sporty luxury family car, and then the Cybertruck can obviously be used for stuff like off-roading and carrying big heavy things. So I don't know, maybe I'm being too picky. Let me know what you think. It is a bit dumb that the 2020 Tesla Roadster is nowhere to be seen though, and there's only 6 months till it's 2022. Either way, how much will this cost for everything that I wanted? Okay, £131,000. But if you consider how much money I'd save in petrol, it's only 126,000. They do still require you to give them the 131,000 though. So basically where I'm at with that is ridiculously expensive. It's a very, very cool car. It makes sense that, you know, the quickest car ever is going to be very expensive. But for me at this stage, that would be a really silly amount of money to be spending. But hey, you never know. By the end of 2022, maybe the Jack Massey Welsh Tesla channel will have 1 million subscribers, and maybe we're getting like 4 times as many views, and then it could actually make somewhat financial sense to purchase one of these so that we can do a load of videos about it. If I was to pick between this and the Cybertruck though, I would pick the Cybertruck just because I already have a Model 3 and that's much closer to a Model S than a Cybertruck, so I'd be able to get different things out of the Cybertruck. However, do you remember I mentioned that fancy little animation? Let's watch Ryan show this off because it is pretty epic.
The launches. As I mentioned, this does a 0 to 60 in 2 seconds or less. And it has some added visualizations to really make the launch shine on the instrument cluster.
Oh, is that on the outside? I didn't realize that. You can see there it says it's thumbnail. The red, black, and white lines. It's kind of like their Plaid branding. And it looks like they've actually added that to the car, which is cool. A bit ugly looking, but still cool.
Let's check it out right here.
Okay, you ready? Look. Oh, look at that! I love that so much. I love things like that. Any funny little things that show up on the screen are incredible. Here we go. Watch it again.
Let's check it out right here.
That's so cool.
That was a launch, 0 to 60. Absolutely insane.
That's so pretty. It just makes things feel fancy, doesn't it? And I think that makes such a difference. So as well as the screen here, the new Model S's also have a screen down here, which is pretty epic. And it means that, like, people sat in the back can control their own heated seats, which makes sense, and they can control their own aircon. But they can even use the entertainment system and watch Netflix and YouTube separately to what's going on in the front seats, which is really, really handy and useful for your passengers too. Oh, also, by the way, this is kind of unrelated. Do you remember how I've been constantly moaning about the fact that I don't have a heated steering wheel in my Model 3, even though normally cars that are that price do have a heated steering wheel? Well, guess what? New Model 3s now have heated steering wheels. Obviously, I have the 2021 Model 3, but they've done, like, another little smaller update to the Model 3, and a bunch of them are made in China now, and apparently, like, things like panel gaps just aren't an issue anymore. If you saw our last video, you'll see I have quite a significant panel gap on the back of my boot. But also, yeah, heated steering wheels are now a thing. I've missed out on a heated steering wheel. Guess I'll have to trade in the car and get my third Model 3 ordered. But anyway, there we go. That's my opinions on the Model S Plaid. I think it's an absolutely incredible car, but it is just very, very, very expensive at the moment. Hopefully you enjoyed this. What do you think of the car? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. We do upload more or less every Saturday on this channel. Thanks, and I'll see you later.